one of the conversations that I'm curious about, and I've had conversations like this with other guests on my podcast, it's around the question like, what is a man? Like, what is it that makes a man? And not in the same way that Matt Walsh asks, what is a woman, in terms of the trans culture, but
Yeah,
in terms of because everyone will probably have a different version of
sure.
what they think a man is. I've got my ideas around
And every
it.
culture would have a different version.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with the size of you or how much money you have or the kind of car you drive or how big your house is, or although maybe some of those things come into it in some cultures.
Yeah.
But I'm curious from your viewpoint, what was it about that you, what qualities or traits did you see in the men there that you really admired that influenced your idea of what a man is?
Well, just, memories of a kid, but they was they stood up straight. They looked you in the eye. They seemed generous. They seemed strong and firm and clear and funny and happy and
Mm.
hard and soft, and all the things were kind of observable. All those kind of things were observable, whereas the white men were just kind of like, you know, work, um, work, talk, drink, whatever, smoke, make money. There was something different. There was something richer in the native
Yeah.
people, something broader, maybe
Mm.
not richer, but filled out more in some way. Their being would seem more filled out, you
Mm.
know.
How would you describe like your felt sense of being when you're
Well, they,
around a man like that? How did you respond in your body, or when you're around that kind of
oh,
man, and then
yeah.
you go down to the golf club and they're drinking the beers and sucking back the ciggies?
Um,
Like what's your body? Is it
I
contracting,
don't know
expanding?
then altogether. I can't
Right.
recall that altogether now, but just now talking about it, I can kind of extrapolate or whatever. But I guess closer to being around a big camel or something like that, or a small camel, a bit, an animal. There was, you know, we Westerners were just like so cranked up in here,
Yes.
and everything down the middle is sort of narrow,
Right.
whereas the traditional people tended to be more broad here,
Mm.
more perceptual, less conceptual, more connected. And if you a little kid, you like somehow you can feel that. You go over to the pub, and it's like,
Mm.
shrill voices, and it's just like different.
It's
And
almost like the Western man's focused or myopic, and these tribal men got broader peripheral vision, and so maybe even more connected to nature.
more connected to nature, to different energies, and
Yeah,
in their own way. Some probably way more than others. They're not, and at the same time, they're not all perfect beings. They've got
no,
their problems and their
sure.
foibles, and
Mm.
there's all different personalities and characters and stuff like that, just like with anything. But in Fiji, I felt the same thing.
Mm.
The Fijian men had this same kind of, you know, um, in Fiji they would call it mana. You've heard of mana,
Yes,
chi. They were just
yes,
like embodied
yeah. Embodied
and
masculine.
embodied, just masculine, embodied. The women were embodied in their
Mm.
own vital, strong, vital way.
Right. So the Western man is maybe head dominant or caught up in the cognitive,
Yeah.
pursuing ideologies where not so much embodied or in the heart or connected to nature so much. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Aboriginals too. The Still today, I'm sure out there, there's people around, but you know, before contact, 1772 or whatever it was, that was oh, incredible people.
yeah,
From what I've read and from what I've experienced in New Guinea and Fiji, and even in Saudi Arabia a little bit, there was a sense some of the men out in the desert. The desert Bedouin had a
mm,
bit of some of them had a bit of this, some of them didn't anymore for me. But yeah. So
but
all of that was a real learning kind of experience and contrast with my own society, and like there's something what's going on with like and then we moved to Australia, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can swear here a bit.
of course you can.